microphone. What's up, guys? Hello. When you are here, please let us know if you can hear us, because I didn't do the settings before we started. So I'm hoping that people can hear us. Alrighty. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things that has been going on in check-ins. I just saw it in the Facebook group as well. So I thought we would talk about it because it's something I am very well versed in, I'd say.
You're a pro.
I am an absolute pro. Hey, Jenna. Let us know if you can hear us, Jenna, please. If you're new here, guys, welcome. These are our lives. We do them a few times a week. Hey, Rosie. What you should do, hey, Sam, because we love audience participation, is for you to drop a comment saying #I'm here and then your name, so we can see who is here, who we want to give so much love to, and who we're just going to ignore in the group. If you're watching the replay, then you put #replay, and then we can give you some love as well. Fantastic, guys. Thank you for dropping those comments there. So again, today we're going to talk about something that's been in the check-ins. I just saw it in the Facebook group, and it's something I am well versed in personally because of, between one thing and another. But let's just go for it.
Jump straight in, though.
Let's just jump straight in, yeah.
Or should we do a 1 and a 2? So, injuries, illnesses, coming back to training. Who has had them? Because we want to find out how many of you have had to have long time off from an injury or from an illness, and then you have to sort of get yourself back into training. And then that's sort of how should you do it? What should and what shouldn't you be doing? It's sort of what we're going to be talking about today. And there's always some common themes when we start talking about it, common behaviors, common phrases or sayings, what people say as soon as they're injured or as soon as they're ill enough.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, I just slapped him under the table. Don't tell everyone what we're going to say first. Oh, goodness me. He's so enthusiastic. He just wants to blab it out. He just wants to get straight to the point. Girls, we like a little bit of foreplay first, don't we? We like to ease into it, get a little bit excited, and then we want the result, okay? Not just like that, Cam.
You want results like that, but you don't want the foreplay of getting results, do you? You just want results.
You gotta love the journey, guys. You gotta love the journey. Can't have it both ways. So, did you say number 1 or number 2? People just said yes. They're like, yes, me. Okay, so Jenna has got an injury right now. I've got a chronic injury. Who else has got an injury at the minute? A couple of our clients. Not because we've injured them, but because they've got something going on, maybe injury, maybe sickness, wherever it's going to be. And I believe it was Jenny in the Facebook group just said as well, she had a bit of a stint off because of illness, getting back into it. Does she just jump straight into it? Does she ease into it? What does she do? And then with injuries and illness is a little bit different, right? If we'll give some examples, but if you are coming out of an injury or, recovering from injury / illness, there's going to be some things you can do and some things you can't do. And that's obvious. Okay. So the first thing is we'll talk about injury, right? Okay, so I've had an injury, goes from my chest here all the way across to my shoulder here since March. So it made it very, very difficult to train. I'm still getting the pain now. I'm rehabbing, I'm prehabbing, and that's something we'll talk about. But for a week or so, I could not train upper body. And actually, even training a lower body is very difficult because you hold on to the machines, you hold on to the dumbbells, the barbell, wherever. And that was just causing a lot of pain in my pec chest muscle, okay? So what are things that you can do? First of all, don't rest it. I know that's like really, but the doctor said, well, so you need to like decrease load. You need to take a little bit of a back seat, but don't just, for example, for me, don't just sling my arm up so that I can't, I can't use it. If you've got a bad leg, don't just lay down and kick your feet up, those kinds of things. There's going to be some things, even if some of our clients come to us and they've got bad backs, we don't tell them, okay, just lay down. Don't exercise. That's like the worst thing you can do. And it's funny, isn't it? Because like when people say, I've got bad knees, so I can't squat. It's like, well, squatting is actually going to help you with your knee pain. Okay, so depending on what the injury is, of course, if you've seen like a physiotherapist or an osteopath, they are normally, osteopath is like right up here. If Ben's watching, right up here, he's my osteo. I recommend it to everybody in Swansea and South Wales and the rest of the world. But anyone, if you can't go to Ben, an osteo is normally like the best thing. Then a physio, then a chiropractor, in my personal opinion. So obviously take advice from the correct people. But yeah, keep it moving. Let's talk about if you have a cast on.
Mm-hmm.
Go on then. Like a leg. Say I broke my leg and I'm in cast, so I can't move it. What's going to happen?
So I think people normally see the thing like the word is like atrophy, so like or atrophy, where like the muscle just it's as simple as if you don't use it, you lose it. So if the body's not using it over a prolonged period of time, like full restriction of like no movement within it, then you just start to lose muscle in that area, like it starts to like degrade essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the same thing's going to happen if you put your arm in a sling, if you don't use whatever muscle because it's injured. You need to be really careful so you don't completely stop using it so it seizes up, so it atrophies, and so that you also don't compensate with the other side as well. So compensating means like if your right shoulder is bad and I'm doing a shoulder press, then my left would take over. If your right glute is weak, then your left will take over and vice versa. That will cause further imbalances in the body. So you really need to be cognizant that you are still moving as much as possible. Now, what I do not mean is if you're used to doing shoulder press every day and you've got bad shoulder, I don't mean to carry on doing that. I just mean don't strap it up or just like not use it. Like, oh, Cam, I've got bad shoulder. Can you please make me a cup of tea? Only sometimes, guys. We can only keep that in the back pocket, okay? Reach for it with our bad. Cam, can you just get that little card out of my back pocket? Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you are recovered or recovering, like slowly build everything back up. So for example, Jenna's hurt her shoulder also. So what you need to do is not just go straight back into the weights, but as you kind of get back to normality, get the range of motion in, start with things like bands or start with just body weight, like air, just getting the movement in. And then start with bands in the correct plane and range of motion. So for example, if you're doing something like this with a band, if you can see that, then maybe you can only start with this plane of this range of motion, which doesn't mean, well, I can't do it properly, so there's no point in doing it. It's because you kind of build it up because you haven't used it in that range of motion for a while. So you really need to build it up. Otherwise, you're basically, if you think about like a hair bobble, right? If you stretch it and it's like too much, it'll snap. And that's not what you want. You don't want to recover it. So you want to slowly ease it to warm it up, and then it'll stretch. And the body will recognize, this is actually safe. Let's keep doing it. And then you go a little bit further and you go, yep, okay, this is safe. I can release. Safe. So you want to build up the range of motion as well as the resistance as well. So you start with like a light band, like a physio band. Then you have like a heavier band, a heavy band, dumbbells, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what you need to do. Anything else, Cam? What about now I am recovered? What do I do?
As in you're recovered and then you're going to start going back to the gym?
Yeah.
It all depends on like what it was, but I guess like quite a general way to say would be to go into like a deload week as soon as you come in. So like a deload week, very roughly, you could say is like 60% of your last recorded working sets. Say you were doing 100 kilos, you could come in and try, 50 to 60. But if you had maybe like a more of a serious injury, you obviously would just come in and just do what you can do. You'd start super low, like at the lightest weight, and then you could build up with how comfortable you're feeling, either by the session or like each session or by the week would be the main thing.
Yes. Like knocking the table and make everything shake. Pack it in. So the other thing that you can do as well then is start prehabbing. So if you get an injury, sometimes it can mean that there's going to be a weakness there like forever. I don't want to say forever, for a long time. So you don't want to go in and just be like, oh yeah, I'm fixed now, go back to normal. You need to start prehabbing. So like rehab is like recovery, and prehabbing is like pre-recovery, yeah, like strengthening any potential problems before we get there and it happens again. So let's think if you've hurt your lower back, right? Typically, there's lots of different reasons, but typically it's because someone's overdone it. They've overstretched their hamstrings. Hey, Sarah, overstretched their hamstrings or overworked muscles that weren't necessarily working as well before. Maybe they're quad dominant, whatever it's going to be. So things like clamshells, adductors. This is very, very common, guys. Like if you get low back pain, add these in and normally it will help. So adductors, clams, dog peas or fire hydrants, whatever you want to call them. Any kind of exercise that is going to move the leg laterally away from the body, because we're always moving back and forth, we're always sitting up and down, but we rarely like kick our legs out to the side. So those kinds of movements strengthen the glute med, which is like a tiny muscle in the glute, in the bum, and that normally strengthens the posterior chain as well. So your back, essentially back side of your body and your back side. And something like that, adding those kinds of things in, can prehab from lower back pain later down the line. Okay, so we're always thinking about where our weaknesses are. And I think that's a really good way to look at the journey. You know, we spoke about the journey already once on this episode, on this live. And it's about, instead of being like, oh, I'm crap at that, so I'm not going to do it. It's like, I'm crap at that, so I need to get better. I can't just keep being crap and avoiding things I don't want to do because I don't like them or because I'm crap at them. We need to add things in to make ourselves stronger at those things. When you're stronger at a range of motion, a range of exercises and movements, you're going to be stronger overall, which means that you're going to be prehabbing and you're less likely to get injured because now all your body works together. All the different muscles are getting stronger. They have like a bigger range of motion, so they're less likely to get damaged. Is that making sense, guys? Are you getting value? Let us know in the comments. What about Cam? I'm sick. I've been sick. Been a little bit ill for a while. I've had, or if I am ill. Let's start with I am ill. Okay, I've got a cough. Should I still go to the gym? I've got a cough and a migraine, and I'm vomiting all the time.
No.
Sounds delightful, doesn't it? Why not? Why can't I go to the gym? I'm going to be fine. I got to hit my calories. I got to burn off those calories. I had pizza last night. I got to burn it off.
I think the thing is, if you're not ready to go back, it's only ever going to prolong. Like if you're already ill or already injured, you're already going to have some sort of recovery, and the longer you try to like push through it, when it's not the right time to do it, it's just going to like eke out your recovery. People don't like to rest and recover for like a week, let alone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And that's where like a lot of people end up. They start to push too hard. They don't give themselves time to recover, and then it just ends up doubling or tripling their recovery time, and then they just end up going back fully, and it just makes it worse.
Yeah, exactly. Apologies if you can hear that, guys. That's our washing machine taking off. But yeah, exactly that. So you need to understand that your body needs to recover. If you do not have a deadline, even if you do have a deadline, you need to understand that the body needs what the body needs. And if you don't listen to your body, it will force you to hear it. Okay. So if you're not going to stop or regress or take some time off or wherever it's going to be, pause, then you'll get worse and worse and worse. And you think, no, I can push through it, I'll be fine. Never a good idea. Never a good idea if you're sick. And also, stop being so bloody inconsiderate. If you are sick, don't come to the gym because I don't want to get sick. Thank you very much, okay? And on top of everything, if you're strength training, which most of you should be doing, or all of you should be doing, most of you are doing, then when you're sick, the body's energy is being pushed towards recovering. It's been pushed towards the immune system. It's been pushed to healing whatever's going on, fighting whatever's going on. So when you go to the gym and you break down muscle, your body's energy then is like, oh, well, I should be like fixing this muscle, but this virus, this bug, whatever it's going to be, needs my attention urgently because this is, in their eyes, like life or death, essentially, right? So it's going to prioritize the sickness or recovery from the sickness. So you've broken down muscle, which now isn't getting fixed. It's not getting put back together stronger. So you're actually diminishing gains. You're actually like regressing. So stop going to the gym if you're sick, okay? And on top of this, let me say this a bit louder. If your coach tells you to take some time off, don't ignore them. Gina, I'm looking at you. I name dropped. She's funny, isn't she? So yeah, if you're sick, don't do it. Now, what if you've just got a headache? Okay, I've got a little bit of a headache, or I've got a little bit of period pain. Don't use that as an excuse. This is the time that you don't use it as an excuse, okay? But what I would say is the general rule is if you're doing cardio, if your your sickness is from the shoulders down, then don't do cardio, okay? Because it's respiratory system. You can do strength training if you've got like a bit of a cough or something, obviously, as long as it's not. Maybe at home. You do them at home where you're not going to get other people sick. So if you got a cough, you can train weights or wherever. Don't do cardio. Don't go running. Don't go on the bike. Don't do anything like that. You need to recover your respiratory system. If you've got a headache, go to the gym and lift lighter. Like Cam said, drop that intensity down to about 60%. The reason for this is when you've got a headache, obviously it can be about like pressure in your head. And when you lift weights, you increase your blood pressure. Okay, you increase your blood pressure slightly and for a small amount of time. So you don't want that on top of your headache. Also, if you're doing anything decline, like decline bench press, you don't want to be doing those either if you've got a headache or migraine, okay? A little bit of a headache, you're going to be absolutely fine. If you've got period pains, go to the gym. Just do something light. Sit on the bike for a little bit, do some yoga, go to like a class, go for a long walk, whatever it is. But just don't use that as an excuse. I think it's really important to know the difference between like an injury, a niggle, a chronic injury, and then on the other side, when it comes to health, an illness and lack of motivation, and then like normal things like periods, which you're gonna get so for a long time, hopefully. So there we go. Anything else? Of course, like if you go to the gym, you can do the opposite side of what is hurting you. So if you've got upper body pain, do your legs. That's the other thing, right? If you got leg injury, do upper body, like get really massive. Who was one of our clients? One of our clients recently had a bad leg, and we were like, just go and do arms every day, do shoulders every day.
I don't know who that was, but yeah, someone did have a bad leg. We'd obviously just then switch the program and put it to like an upper body focus, but generally something that is supported. So everything that's just sitting down to take the pressure off your legs. Like you could do a lot of stuff seated, and still get like a lot of good workouts out. It just keeps you. God, I think the biggest thing, it keeps you in routine. Like you're not going to build massive amounts of muscle anyway in such a short amount of time. But one, it stops you from losing muscle and maintaining muscle and strength. But three, which I think is most important, is it keeps you in routine. Whereas people don't know they're in routine until they're out of it. So they're going to the gym 3 times a week and they're like, this is easy because it's just clockwork. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, boom, 6 o'clock after work, 6 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, I get it done. But as soon as you have an injury or an illness, you take a break, like when you should, you then get out of routine, and you just can't get back in. So if you carry on going, but even like they said, when you've got your period pains, you still go. So you're still within this routine, you're not breaking it, that you're just lowering the intensity, maybe changing the activity. That becomes quite a big thing.
Yeah. And I think the worst thing, guys, if you could take anything away from this episode, is just because you're injured or sick doesn't mean you can eat shit, okay? Don't do this. Don't be like, I can't train, so I just fucking eat shit all the time. Oh, I swore. Oops. Doesn't mean you just eat crap, okay? You can still make progress not working out, not going to the gym, not exercising. We've got clients that do it.
I think you could say exercise accounts for 5% of your metabolism daily, unless you're some like endurance athlete, which most people aren't. So because you can't complete 5% of your metabolism, you're now just throwing away, your goals. Yeah. You're saying no to your goals.
Well, it's TDE, isn't it?
Yeah. You said no to that when you could just be working on everything else. That's still going to have a big impact on your overall weight loss across a long period of time. And just because we can't train or go to the gym or exercise doesn't mean that you can't progress forward.
Yeah, and also on top of that, it's like, okay, so say you when you're like running at top capacity, you're exercising, your food is good, your sleep is good, your hormones are good, all of that kind of stuff. Say that's 100%, right? You're making 100% progress, whatever that looks like for you. It might be gaining a pound a week. It might be losing a pound a week. It might be whatever it's going to be, going up in weights. Then you can't exercise, so you're now making 95% progress, okay? Because everything else is on check. Boom, 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 95%. What happens when you give up on your nutrition? Instead of making 95%, you're making it way, way, way worse. You're making it worse because now you're adding calories where you wouldn't be earlier. So it's not even just about like not doing everything else. It's about doing the opposite of everything else. So you're making things like 10 times worse than, even if you didn't eat really well, you just didn't track, you were like intuitively eating, you hitting your veg, hitting your protein, but you weren't like on it. There's still better progress than shoveling down pizza, shoveling down chips, shoveling down chocolate. And it might make you feel better at that moment, but it's not going to help you recover and get back to the gym, which is where you guys want to be, right? So think about, if you can't do everything, do something. Instead of all or nothing mindset, have an all or something mindset. So make sure you're doing something. I think it's very easy, and I've definitely been there, guys, where I'm like, oh, well, I can't train, so what's the point? Might as well just give up. I may as well just give up. So I've been there. I'm not slating you guys. I've definitely been there. Have you? You're never injured.
I'm rarely injured, yeah.
Sometimes you're sick, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm rarely ill, but when I am ill, I'm quite ill.
Man flu, isn't it? Terrible. And
I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
No, I bet. So, guys, that is the end of this. I hope this has helped you. I hope you've got some value, and I hope now moving forward, you know how to progress and basically just not regress if you're sick or when you get sick, and if and when you get injured, and if and when life gets busy, when you get your period pains and all that kind of stuff, how to move forward without moving backwards. So that's it. Now, in saying all of this, shall we say this now? About Monday? show us on Monday now for Monday?
Could do. We've got 3 minutes.
We've got 3 minutes, so I'll say it now. Guys, do you remember? Psst, got a secret. Do you remember earlier on when Cam was like 5% of your daily calorie burn is exercise? So you got 95% for the rest of the stuff. 70% is your metabolism, your basal metabolic rate. These are your hormones. So if you optimize your hormones, you will be 70% higher than probably what you are now. Maybe not 70, maybe like 50% more. Okay, so we have got the hormone program, Happy Hormones for Easier Weight Loss, starting on Monday. We launched it yesterday. It's full by this morning. So like always, our challenges and programs like this always fill up really, really quickly. People get a ton of value from them. So we opened the wait list. We are going to open a few more spaces for you guys who haven't yet applied or signed up, basically. And we're going to open a few more spaces, but that is going to close Friday morning. Friday morning it's going to close, okay? And that's it. So let us know if you want any information on that. We're going to help you learn how to optimize hormones, recover them, fix them, build your metabolism, what PCOS, what perimenopause, what menopause is all about, what thyroid imbalances are all about, and how to make them more optimized so that your body runs with a higher metabolism and makes weight loss easy instead of an uphill battle, okay? So there's that. Let us know if you want in. Drop us a message saying waitlist and we'll get back to you. Aside from that, that is it. We're going to hop onto a call with our clients now, a Zoom call, which we love. Have a fantastic rest of your week and we'll speak to you soon.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.